Heavy rain poured outside the police station. A police officer entered the storage room, walked around, then stopped in front of a cabinet. He opened it, took something out and left. He drove through the rain with a black bag beside him. A call came in, and he told them to get the money ready, he would be there soon. He arrived and lit a cigarette while waiting. Time passed, but no one came. Curious, he reached for the bag, but the radio startled him. As he opened it, a hand grabbed his hair and slit his throat. A stunning woman approached, tasted the blood on the knife she had just used to slit the cop's throat, and then walked away with the bag. At home, Tiffany pulled out Chucky's damaged head and took out other parts from her suitcase to assemble a full body. Not far from there, a car stopped in front of a house. David stepped out and knocked on the door. Sheriff Warren opened it, invited him in and called for his niece, Jade. While waiting, he asked David a few questions about his studies, leaving him puzzled. Jade came down and they left before the sheriff could ask any more. David was driving when Jade climbed into the back seat to kiss Jesse. They laughed about fooling the sheriff. After a while, a police car signaled them to pull over for a check. The trio stood in the rain while the officer tested for alcohol. Soon, the sheriff arrived, confronted his niece for tricking him, threatened Jesse, and left. After Tiffany finished assembling Chucky's body, she prepared to perform a voodoo ritual to bring him back to life. But after chanting the spell, Chucky remained motionless, making her think it had failed. Frustrated, she lit a cigarette. Then, there was a knock at the door. It was Damien asking to come in because it was raining and cold. After letting Damien in, Tiffany realized Chucky was gone, knowing the ritual had worked. She looked around and asked Damien to crawl under the couch to get her lipstick. While he searched, a spider named Charlotte fell down. Unable to find Chucky, she sat down in disappointment, only to discover him sitting right next to her. Then Damien approached, and she asked if he wanted to play. She tied his hands and feet to the bed and placed Chucky on his stomach, then started to wiggle. She told him that Chucky was a killer doll and warned that Chucky did not like anyone else touching her. Damien laughed, saying Chucky was not big enough to satisfy her. Just then, the doll turned its head toward Damien, shocking him. Chucky ripped out his lip ring, causing blood to pour, and covered his face with a pillow, suffocating him. Chucky sat across from Tiffany, greeting her as she showed her longing after 10 years apart. She picked up the doll and brought it to a nearby table to show him the ring she had left behind before her death. She thought it was the engagement ring he had given her, but Chucky revealed it was just a ring from a wealthy victim he had killed. Heartbroken and angry, Tiffany punished Chucky by locking him in a playpen. She turned on the radio, played music, lay on the bed, removed the ring from her finger, and hugged the pillow that Damien had used, crying. The next morning, Tiffany was dragging Damien's body in a trunk from the RV to her car to dispose of it. She asked her neighbor Jesse for help. To thank him, Tiffany suggested they have a little fun afterward, but Jesse turned her down, implying he had a girlfriend. Tiffany got the hint and told him to treat his girlfriend well. Inside Tiffany's RV, Chucky tried to charm her into freeing him. As a mocking gesture, Tiffany placed a female children's doll dressed in a miniature wedding gown with a ring around its neck into Chucky's playpen. Tiffany lay in the bathtub, watching the news about the deaths of a police officer and Damien. But the news bored her, so Tiffany switched channels and focused on the Bride of Frankenstein. Outside, Chucky used the ring to saw through a wooden bar and escaped the playpen, dragging the bride doll with him. He grabbed a knife and approached the bathroom to stab Tiffany. Just then, a tense moment in the film startled her. She kicked Chucky, causing him to fall into the shelf, which knocked the TV into the bathtub, electrocuting Tiffany to death. Chucky placed the doll near the bathtub and recited the familiar spell to transfer Tiffany's soul into it. He blackmailed her by revealing that her only hope of becoming human again was to help him steal the amulet, which was buried along with his former body at a cemetery in Hackensack, New Jersey. Realizing they were both dolls unable to move freely, Tiffany enlisted their neighbor Jesse for help, promising to give him all the money once he delivered the two dolls to the cemetery in New Jersey. Coincidentally, Jesse was also planning to run away with Jade, so he agreed. While waiting, Tiffany got herself ready in her usual style. Jesse came to Tiffany's RV, took half the money, and left with the two dolls. He then drove to meet Jade, proposing to her and asking her to run away with him. Although she was afraid her uncle would cause trouble, she eventually agreed, and the two went inside to pack their bags. They didn't know that Warren was nearby and had overheard their entire conversation. He decided to frame Jesse by breaking into his car and tossing in a bag of weed. Hearing a laugh, he approached the passenger seat and found Tiffany. The killers had set a trap, driving several nails into the sheriff's face and hiding his body in the trunk. Tiffany was cleaning the blood when Jesse tossed Jade's luggage inside, so they went unnoticed and drove away together. After driving for a while, they were stopped by a police officer acting on Warren's request. Jade angrily confronted the officer, but Jesse calmed her and suggested she buy something to eat. While searching the car, the officer discovered the trunk containing Warren's body. Before he could react, Tiffany distracted him by planting a bag of weed, giving him enough reason to arrest Jesse. The officer returned to his car to report the situation but failed to contact the sheriff. Meanwhile, Chucky was plotting in Jesse's car. He took a lighter and a shirt, crawled to the police car, stuffed the shirt into the gas tank, and set it on fire. When the police office smelled smoke, the car exploded, sending debris flying everywhere. In the chaos, people bumped into Jade, causing her to drop her things. She rushed to Jesse and urged him to escape while they could. As they got into the car, Jesse hesitated to leave. Jade urged him on, and just as he drove off, a girl shouted that they were the culprits and reported them. While driving, Jesse got a call from David, who said Warren was missing and the police had blocked all routes, advising them to drive slowly. Shocked that one of them could be the killer, Jesse and Jade decided to stop at a couples-only hotel for a wedding ceremony. Inside the car, Tiffany and Chucky were having a cheerful conversation when Warren woke up in the trunk. Before he could crawl away, Chucky stabbed him multiple times in the back and stuffed his body back into the trunk. Meanwhile, Jesse and Jade befriended a couple of swingers. The man distracted them while the woman seized the chance to steal a wallet from the nightstand. Tiffany witnessed this and later sneaked into the thieves' room. As they were being intimate, the doll threw a champagne bottle, shattering the overhead glass and raining down shards on them, causing blood to splatter everywhere. Chucky, aroused by the scene, knelt down to propose to Tiffany, and the two dolls became intimate in the blood-soaked room. In the morning, the maid screamed when she arrived to clean the room. Jesse and Jade rushed over to see what happened and quickly loaded their suitcase into the car. They argued, suspecting each other might be the killer. Surprising, David unexpectedly appeared. He urged them to stop accusing one another. David then noticed a foul smell coming from the car. As he checked, he found blood leaking from a box where Chucky and Tiffany were sitting. Opening it, he discovered Warren's lifeless body inside. Hiding his horror, David carefully took the sheriff's gun and ordered Jesse to stop. David opened the suitcase, horrifying the couple as they saw the body of the uncle. Fearing their plan might fall apart, Chucky and Tiffany revealed themselves, pointing guns at all three. Shocked by what he saw, David accidentally stepped into the path of an oncoming pickup truck and was killed before realizing his friends were innocent. Jesse and Jade were about to check on him when they saw a police car approaching. The dolls in the back pointed guns at them, ordering them to keep driving. A radio announcement informed Chucky that the fingerprints found at the scene had been identified as Charles Lee Ray's, and the authorities planned to exhume his body as part of the investigation. With the van now under suspicion, the dolls moved their prey into a stolen RV. Jesse was forced to drive while Tiffany gave Jade a makeover, preparing her for the body transfer. As the group neared the Hackensack cemetery, Jesse quipped to Chucky that Tiffany wasn't much of a homemaker, because of the dishes in the sink. In response, Chucky ordered Tiffany to clean up. Jade following Jesse's lead, she told Tiffany, "You were nice enough to cook for him. The least he could do was wash a dish," igniting a loud argument between the dolls. In the confusion, Jesse swerved off the road and crashed, while Tiffany was knocked into the oven by Jade. Still tied to a chair, Jade was trapped and saw that Tiffany was alive but badly charred. Jesse cut Jade free and pulled her from the RV just before the wiring sparked and caused the vehicle to explode. Jesse was blown clear, but Chucky took Jade hostage. He forced Jade to take him to his open grave, shot the gravedigger in the back of the head, and ordered Jade to open his coffin at gunpoint. Reluctantly, she retrieved the amulet and threw it to him, but Jesse reappeared, dragging Tiffany by her hair. Chucky agreed to let Jade go in exchange for Tiffany. As the couples reunited, Chucky suddenly threw a knife, hitting Jesse, then tied them together and began the ritual. Moved by Jesse and Jade's love and disgusted by Chucky's treatment of her, Tiffany betrayed him by stabbing him in the back, quoting from Bride of Frankenstein, "Oh Chucky, look at us, don't you see, we belong dead." Tiffany freed the couple, but Chucky retaliated by attacking her with a shovel, starting a fight between the two dolls. He gained the upper hand, stabbing Tiffany in the chest. However, Jesse retrieved the shovel and knocked Chucky into his own grave, trapping him in the 6-foot pit. As Chucky screamed and cursed, a police lieutenant arrived and witnessed the living doll. Jade took the detective's gun and aimed at Chucky, who promised to return, saying, "But dying is such a bitch." He was shot to death, his lifeless body collapsing next to his former human shell. In the aftermath of what he witnessed, the lieutenant radioed in to declare Jade and Jesse innocent, allowing them to escape together. Before the rest of the police unit arrived, he discovered Tiffany's body. After poking her a few times, the charred doll sprang to life. The lieutenant screamed in horror as a screeching, sharp-toothed baby emerged from beneath Tiffany's dress and attacked him. So the movie ends here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Catch you in the next video.